Good morning. We're live.
Good morning, everyone.
You got me to do a live at 10:30 in the morning on a Monday. That's talent.
That's pretty cool. I don't know if I get to see the chat or whatever.
You should if you click comments on the side.
Okay. Oh, good morning. All righty. Hello. 10:30. How about when I do it with Yost and sometimes I have to get up at 2 or 3 in the morning? That's dedication, right?
That's dedication. To be fair, though, at 2 a.m., I'm still sometimes up. Because I am very much a night owl. I'm just not a morning person. At this time, like, I am normally doing emails and stuff. I am not on camera at this time of day.
Hey, I put on a face for you, okay?
I got as far as putting on lipstick and getting a cup of coffee.
You look
number
great.
2.
You look lovely.
Thank you.
Hey, so coffee number 2. So, in my Snoopy, I'm into Snoopy, so I like my Snoopy cup. But I want to thank you first of all for having me. I think you're wonderful. I met you in Chicago for the first time last year, and I've been following you ever since.
Yes.
And I was one of your first for the 20 pen questions that you did.
You were one of the very first 20 questions episodes. Yeah. And that has turned into a much larger series than I ever thought it was going to be.
I think it's awesome that you do that.
Yeah. I thought it was just going to be a pen show series. And now I think I filmed episode 50 yesterday, which
wow, that's awesome.
Just
Congratulations.
Seems sort of crazy that I've filmed 50 episodes of a show. I'm casting season 3 if anyone in the chat is interested. But yeah, you were one of the first. I have to say that first group of, I think it was 10 of you, really, those were some interesting episodes because I really didn't know how they were going to go. And none of you knew what was going on.
Well, what was interesting is that we're in a hallway, basically.
We are in a hallway. We're in a
little sitting area, and we're not sure that the sound or the lighting.
And people keep walking through and trying to talk to us.
But the best part is, that's the fun part, because of the fact it's very organic. It's not. I like this type of scenario when we're just sit and chat too, versus me filming myself doing a pen review. And that's harder.
It is so much harder. I've got a pen on my desk right now. The video has to come out Wednesday. I think I filmed the video 3 times, and I'm not happy with any of them. And
yeah, you're like me.
Honest, it's probably going to be the first one that I release because I think it's the best version of it. Unless I decide to film a 4th one today. But it's
I do the same thing, and I'm sure because you're being a perfectionist that it is great. Probably your first one was great, but I do the same thing. I do exact same. My husband's like, Claire, it's great. It's okay. Stop stressing. You're supposed to be doing this for fun, which I do. I do all of it for fun. I want to thank this community because of something tragic that happened to us 5 years ago. If it wasn't for doing like chatting with people, journaling, learning more about the journaling, learning more about pens, and me sharing what I learned and getting to talk and meet with you, it has really helped a lot. So my husband's like, yes, we just do this for fun. We're doing it for fun, and it's something that he and I now do together.
Yeah.
And it's much harder when you have 2 pen nuts in the household.
Yeah, I've gotten Mom into it by accident. I got her into it so Scriptus 2023. She bought a Coco from Stilo.
Mm-hmm.
And she really liked it, and then she lost it. And so when it came time to rebuy a pen, she bought another Cocono, but she didn't make sure she bought the same nib and size. So she learned that she didn't like extra fine nibs or fine nibs.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's got a fairly significant pen collection.
That's great.
Including raiding my spare nibs because she couldn't get the pen she wanted for her birthday with a stub nib, but she knew I had spare stub nibs in my nib collection. So, like, cool.
As you see behind me, because I'm in my dining room. Okay, so we have pens everywhere. We keep everything on a display. So we have, sometimes we have neighbors that come over and they're like interesting and they want to see pens and stuff. So we keep a stash of stuff that we penable people. We, get them. It's kind of fun. It's fun when you get to penable.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yes. So congratulations that you penabled your mom. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I forgot to sign in. I wanted to say hi to people in the chat, and I forgot to sign into my YouTube account. So I will pop up and just say hi to people from here, so I don't have to, yes. So if anybody has any questions, I'll just answer it this way.
Yes, that's totally fine, and I will. Sorry, Mom's going to Costco and wants to know if we have room in the freezer, and the answer is no. The answer is no. We've got about 30 pounds of butter for Christmas cookies, but no room in the freezer.
Oh, no. So do you have a cookie swap and all that stuff?
A little bit. It's more neighbors will get cookies. Cookies will go to the various groups that Grandma's part of and all that fun stuff. So I think we'll probably start baking cookies on the weekend, and we won't stop until after Christmas.
I think that's wonderful. I do that with a group of friends, and we do the swap and the whole bit. But I think we do more drinking than baking.
We do a lot of baking. So we have our Christmas is never Christmas Day. There's too much extended family. So our Christmas is always this year it's the 27th.
Uh-huh.
And so, but everyone will start arriving far before the 27th. So you have to plan, you're going to lose the kitchen probably the 23rd. So you've got to get all the Christmas stuff done before the 23rd. So we'll start it soon.
I think that's fun. This year, unfortunately for me, I'm having surgery next Monday. So I will be on bed. And it's why did you plan surgery during the holidays? And there's a good explanation for that. It's because I'm going to so many pen shows come 2025 that I don't have the time to take off to have surgery. And the only time I can do it is now. Right?
Yeah.
Because I need a few weeks to recoup. I'm having foot surgery.
Ooh.
And and I'm doing it. I could have done it this week, but I'm not giving up going to New York on Thursday to help out at the Fountain Pen Hospital event. I mean, it's all pen related.
It's all pen related.
It brings me joy to help. I like to help out friends and stuff like that. So it brings me a lot of joy to, even when I go to the shows. I'll go to Philly, and I'm not helping because of the foot, because I still have to take it easy with my foot. But I'm still going to the show. You're not stopping me from going to the show. I said, I already booked, if I need to, in the airport to have a wheelchair taking me to the gate. So I'm not doing too much walking. Hi, Kate. How are you? I see Kate, Wolf Kate, which is that. Yes. And good morning. So we discussed like the holiday, a little bit of holiday.
We did.
And so how would you like to start this?
I picked up a bottle of ink for you and managed to get it out just before Canada Post went on strike. Like it cleared customs to the States, I think, the night before mail stopped in Canada.
So all mail, or do you still get like DHL and DHL's private? It's just Canadian.
So DHL, FedEx, we're getting all that, but we're not getting any letter mail, and anything that's sent. I saw a whole lot of Americans like freaking out over the fact that USPS was no longer shipping to Canada. The simple explanation for that is when you ship USPS to Canada, because it's another national mail service, when it enters Canada, it becomes Canada Post. And so there is no point in USPS sending to Canada. We have no mail service currently. all USPS would be doing is just adding to the backlog. So we are now, I think we're heading into week 3 of no mail. So no letter mail and no packages from any company that would ship Canada Post.
Oh, that's terrible.
And no government mail, because all government mail comes via Canada Post.
So what do you do for like bills and stuff if you need billing? Oh, my husband just
Peter's in the chat.
Yes. Peter's in the chat. Thank you, honey.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, so what do you do? Like, what do people do if they're expecting, like, some people are still receiving, like, instead of doing bills.
So most bills here are paid direct from bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And people just get an invoice, like telling you the money was removed from your account. Or you can like e-transfer the company with Interact. So we've got a system in Canada called Interact, which is our national money transfer service that lets you pay government institutions, it lets you e-transfer your friends. It is like PayPal, only significantly better and with way less fees, but it doesn't work internationally. And so that is how most of us are, paying bills when.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking paperless, but you know what stinks? It's like no Christmas cards.
Yeah, and when you've made, I think I made 220 Christmas cards, and I've done most of what I do normally is wholesale. No one buys wholesale when no one knows if their customers are going to be buying Christmas cards.
Oh man, yeah.
So the only wholesale orders I've sold are to sort of like brands that are going to then be sending them out to their vendors, who then they don't have to rely on selling the cards. But I've still got, I think I've got about 40 to 50 Christmas cards left this year, which actually isn't that bad. I'm okay with carrying that over to next year. Like I'll be able to reuse them. But it was definitely one of those things, like I prepped for them to settle, not for them to be on strike for 3 weeks.
It's been 3 weeks. Well, that's not good. So I
think we're heading into week 3.
Oh no, I did get the ink, and it's beautiful. Alexandra reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to Scriptus. Would you like to?" Because I said I love the ink color. It's beautiful. I'm just trying to decide which pen it's going to go into now.
Yeah, and I have no idea what pen I'm putting it in, because last year's Scriptus ink, I still haven't found a pen it works in. It is an ongoing theme in the Canadian fountain pen group, including a post from last night of people trying to figure out what ink. Where is it? Last year's Pannonia ink is absolutely fabulous, but it works in pretty much nothing. It is UV reactive, it is sparkly, it is super fun, but it clogs everything.
Have you tried it in a Banu?
I have not tried it in a Banu. The only Banu I own is a fine.
I have broads, and they work pretty. I have had no problem with shimmer inks in my Banu pens.
I don't own a Phoenix. I own a Hot Toddy in medium.
Oh, she's talking about my Phoenix.
Oh, okay. I'm going. Mine is very pretty, but mine's a fine and like would not handle shimmer at all.
You could, if you want to, because I think to get a backup nib or a replacement nib or nib, I think they're only around, I don't know what they'd be Canadian. I don't want to, I think they're around.
They're about $40. The issue is getting one here.
Yeah. Right now too. Yes, that I get.
Yeah. Right now it's an impossibility, but like even normally almost no one here carries Banus. So I'm already having to order it from the States. It's just for the nib itself above what our customs limit is. So our customs limit in Canada is only $20. Anything above that, you have to pay taxes and fees on.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So if you get, so no wonder when I watch, Doug, Inquiring Minds, and he says, I've been hijacked again. Yeah, I can understand. That's because we have
so yeah,
a higher threshold here.
It's, I think for you guys it's about $800. For my $40 Galen leather order, I paid, I think it was $28 in taxes and fees.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I think that's terrible.
I'm
so sorry for that.
It was unpleasant.
Yeah, I mean, because I was going to say, Banu has stuff that you can only get on their website that the retailers, and so I got a few things from them in, and then sometimes I'll get a customs bill for whatever reason, and sometimes I won't, and and these are just small amounts, like why am I getting a custom bill when it was the like $280, so I just never know. It depends on the custom agent.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on. But I think I have a sailor pen that might look great.
Ooh.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Yeah, I think mine's probably going to end up in something from Monteverde with a broad nib.
Okay, so you do use other nibs besides mine.
Oh yeah, no, I really don't own that many fine nib pens.
Yeah.
Just when Gold Spot sent the Banu, it came with a fine nib.
Fine nib.
And I haven't been able to. One, it's a really nice fine nib. It's quite smooth. But also, I just haven't been able to find a replacement nib. But because I would like to have a medium or a broad, because I have tried Kari's broad Banus, and I do know that I really like them.
They're very lovely. And now Banu has just come out with a stub, 1.1 and 1.5, and a flex nib. So I'm like,
ooh, I didn't know they'd come out with the 1.5. I knew they'd come out with the 1.1.
I just ordered it because, well, okay, so I know we're going a little off topic because we will get back to Italy in a minute, but I the people from Banu were very, I have Walker on the Rocks, and I happen to have dropped it on the floor after I did a pen and ink challenge, and it just slipped out of my hand, and the section broke away from the body, and I'm like beside myself, and so I contacted them and basically said, how can I'll just buy another one, or can it be repaired? So end result is, and long story short, I got a piece for it that worked. They sent me a new piece, but I also bought another one of their paint, not the expensive hand painted pens, but the more reasonably priced hand painted pens, and I got the 1.5. So I have I just put it in and stuff, but they're lovely to work with and everything. So, but I was like really depressed because I like the Euphoria size too, and it's like that one was like one of my favorites. And sometimes I would like be silly and I'd have like a martini and I'd put my vodka on the my vodka pen right there. But anyway, Schmidt.
Does Schmidt make an Omniflex?
I don't know who's doing the flex. Will these new nibs be Yovo instead of Schmidt? I believe that, you know what? Let me get it and I'll tell you. 1 second. It's right here.
If we can't answer it, I would talk to Bryce from Luxury Brands of America.
Yes.
Throwing Bryce under the bus here.
Yeah, we'll throw him under the bus.
But Bryce should be able to answer that question.
I believe that they're still Schmidts.
I would think so.
Oh, it has the new name on it, but I believe they're still Schmidt. Yes, yeah, so this is the pen that I just got from them, which is the Noble Spirit. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, that's very pretty.
And I got it in the 1.5. And so I've been so busy, I haven't inked it yet. So I haven't inked a lot. I have to play with my pens. I said, foot surgery, I'll be a captive audience and I can probably start to do some videos and more again and start playing with what I have. But yes, it's very pretty. But Schmidt does all the inks for them. So
yeah, I would assume Schmidt's still making their nibs. I think they'd say something if Schmidt wasn't making their nibs, but also just like send Luxury Brands of America a message and they should be able to answer that question.
Yeah, Bryce is great with that. You can send it to him that way or through Instagram because he always answers.
Yeah, the only way I communicate with Bryce is via Instagram.
Yeah, a lot of people are that way too. So anyway, what else is happening with you?
Oh, I guess I can show what I'm making a video on this week. Oh, and I can show this. So I finally got a hand-turned pen.
Oh, nice.
I made a video on. Well, it's really hard to get the cap off them when you can't feel your fingertips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband goes through that a little bit sometimes, and he's like gets angry, because he has a little bit of neuropathy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It doesn't make me angry. Like I'm just used to it, but they're so smooth that you can't get the cap off of them without a clip, and many hand-turned pens don't come with clips. But at Scriptus, the lovely Tori from Stationery Universe dropped a hint that I might want to come by the Heinz table, and she was right, because Heinz had this.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Is that a purple clip too?
It is a purple clip.
Lovely. Congratulations.
It is a purple clip and a purple nib.
Oh, wow.
Love it.
Wait a minute now. What about the 2020, the Scriptus ink you showed me from last year?
You can't put shimmery inks in the ones with the colored nibs.
Really?
You're not supposed to. Yeah, I talked to Heinz. They come with a lovely card. So the nano ceramic coating that they then electroplate on the nibs does not like shimmery inks or anything with a really high, either a high pH or low pH, whatever Noodlers and Private Reserve are. And they're very picky about what inks go in these pens, which did give me an excuse to go to Mont Blanc and buy more ink, but it was one of those.
I was at the Mont Blanc store, and speaking of Mont Blanc inks, and my husband wanted to get like a permanent blue, and they said that they don't even recommend people using permanent blue Mont Blanc in their pens.
They don't even recommend people using Mont Blanc permanent black.
Yes, exactly.
Have you seen what that does to nibs?
He says it's something about corroding them or something. I have no idea.
It like eats away at the gold on the nibs. There's some crazy pictures of what it does to nibs.
But I think if you clean your nibs a lot or often enough, it should be okay. So it's like jewelry. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Doug from Inquiring Minds goes to, sometimes he's out and he's at like antique stores or whatever. And he gets a ring, and you can put like sometimes rings, if you get a ring will fit over the cap, and that's what he uses sometimes.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. Costume jewelry.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
I don't know Amy, but I would send a message to either Francisco or the Heinz account and just ask. I know that a card came with my purple nib about it, but I don't know if that goes for all of their colored nibs, including the black ones.
It might, but if you use a shimmer, maybe clean it away. So you're gonna like use it, like dip with it maybe, but then you have to clean it right away.
Yeah. So. I think they were more specific about making sure you didn't use anything like Noodlers or Private Reserve that like sort of eats away at the coating. So
yeah, I don't use. We have some Private Reserves here, and I don't use much of the Private Reserve, and I have a couple of Noodlers, but we have one pen that's dedicated to what's the blue ink from Noodlers that everybody. Bay State Blue, yes, the Bay State Blue. It's dedicated, and it's my husband's, and he puts it in a Jin Hao,
Yep.
Yeah, and so hey, that just toss it out if it gets bad. But I put rubber gloves on because I don't want to get ink all over me with that one.
I want to say there are 2 people that have had to repaint rooms because of Bay State Blue in 20 Questions. And then in today's episode, somebody had to repaint his entire office because of Organic Studios nitrogen.
Yeah, it dropped on the floor or something, but that's the sheen on that ink and stuff like that, it can be very sticky.
Yeah. Amy, if you send me a DM on Instagram, I will send you a picture of the card that came with my pen, because there are also some special instructions about cleaning the colored nibs. And I can get you all that information. Or you can just DM Heinz, whichever one, whichever works for you.
So I know we were going to talk about my trip.
We were, because you were in Italy for like 3 weeks.
Yes, it was amazing. Well, my husband and I celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary in June.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was a child bride, as I say, joke around. And so we decided for our 40th that we were going to go to Italy and because we've made friends along the way with a lot of the pen manufacturers and stuff. And we said, if we ever go, we'll go visit. And so we started off going to Amsterdam first, because if I'm going to go to Europe, I said, let's go to Amsterdam and say hello to Joost. So we went to Appelboom, and that was pretty fun there, seeing Joost, and then getting to meet his wife and 2 daughters, and they were his family's beautiful, and we had such a great time with them. And it's so cool to hang out in a store. And I don't have stores around here that I can hang out in South Florida. So what do? We go to Europe to hang out at stores. But it was really nice spending some time with Joost, and I like this, I like that. And in fact, the day we went to go see Joost, the Lamy 2000, he just got a shipment in. So we were able to pick up Peter ordered a Lamy 2000, so we were able to pick that up while we were there at the store, and then a few other things, and had them shipped back home. And so that was really cool. So after Amsterdam, then we went to Italy for 2 weeks. And our first stop was to go to Venice, which just because, why not? We traveled with another couple, which, another, pen friends. So with the Rosens, Jay and Beth Rosen, very lovely people, and they belong to the DC Metro Pen Group as well. So that's how we met. And they were going for their 25th anniversary and Jay's 60th birthday. So everybody's combining all these things to say, let's just go away and celebrate. And it was really fun traveling with them. We just had the best time. So we met in Venice together. Now, Venice was a trip because we didn't realize about the water taxis and stuff. Like, that's the only way you can get to Venice. You get into the port and you have to go to get to the island of Venice because it's surrounded by water. You got to go by water taxi. I thought it was cool, but my husband was like, okay, but we did it, we made it, and it pulled right in front of the hotel, and you get out of the water taxi and go into the hotel. And so with Venice, there was no pen stores or, well, they did have pens and fountain pens and everything, but that Venice was just to see Venice, which was really cool, being in St. Mark's Square and walking around. And Venice is known for flooding. And so all of a sudden I'm walking around and they take these things that staging where people have to walk on, because in fact, at one day I was walking and I pulled up my, the leggings of my pants, and I'm like, my shoes are getting wet because there was no staging around. It was quite funny, but you go with the flow. It was really fun. So after we were only in Venice for a couple of nights. Then we had to our first factory. It was Monte Grappa. And how that all started was twofold. We wanted to go to Monte Grappa, and Peter's chatting with somebody that he had met online. And then through Yoast Appelboom also setting something up, saying, hey, I have, these people, they're Monte Grappa fans. We have a lot of different Monte Grappas. This way. Right behind me, I have a few. Water Tower. It's the Warner Brothers pen, and so we have a few others. And the cool thing at Monte Grappa, and I'll back up a little bit. I love seeing how things are made. I grew up in a factory. My husband grew up in a factory. We're both business people. And I like to see how things are made. I love to go into factories, and you get a better appreciation seeing how things are, versus I do for me. It's kind of cool. So we go on the tour of Monte Grappa, and some things at this point, because we're in the factory, they don't let you take pictures. So, which is fine because the memories are going to be there. There's some things they did let me take pictures of, but not like in the factory. And we got to see a lot of things. How there was a machine there that put the pens on that tests the nibs after the pen is put together. Each team member gets, they'll have a Monte Grappa pen, and they're in charge of putting all the pen parts together for one particular brand of pen, whether it be one person was working on the Frankenstein, and somebody else, they're different parts of the pen, whatever pen was coming out, they're all working on. And it was pretty interesting watching them put all these pieces together, because every piece to the pen, whether it be the clip, the cap, the band, everything, every piece is just made and then assembled. And that was quite interesting. And I don't know if you have ever gone to their website and seen their hand painted pens.
I have. I've had to link them for 20 questions before, and so I've spent a fair bit of time on the Monte Grappa website.
Well, to go into that room and actually watch an artist. The Monet painting with the mother and the child behind, in the field, she was painting that on a pen. I was just like blown away. The finest finest of brushes. And I'm looking at her, she has it up on the screen and the pen is there and she goes to look at the artwork, the pen. And I said to her, I said to her that, do you go home and paint? She says, never. And it takes between 6 months and a year to have the pen completely hand painted. That now you know why they're so expensive. They're just done. It's just, I was like, I could have just stayed and watched her for the longest time. And then we saw someone that does all the engraving on a pen, like taking a silver pen, sterling silver pen, and actually doing intricate engravings on it. It was just a wonderful experience. And, they have a wall there of all the materials, like some celluloid, some ebonite, their resins, and it's like an art installation, but you kind of go and you feel each one. It was very, very cool. In their showroom, they have a big table, and you can customize your own fountain pen. Okay, so that was
what did you create on that table?
I did, and here it is. It's an extra auto.
Okay.
This is all in celluloid, and I got to pick. I decided to do it different. Instead of being like all yellow, I did blue here, and yellow the cap. But then when you go to the section, I open it up, and the section's the blue.
Oh, that's very pretty.
And then I picked the stone instead of doing the Monte Grappa stone. I mean, plain, you could do a stone. And then on the pen clip, there's a stone too. Oops, there we go. And because of the shape and size and everything, you can monogram the cap band. So let's see, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that on there, but it says Coco. You can do 4 letters. That's perfect. Just do my last name, Coco. So it's the Coco pen. And of course, I did a stub nib, but I'm going to have Kirk do a cursive italic with it.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Kirk doesn't know it yet, but
Kirk doesn't know it yet. But the thing is, I recommend Kirk a shocking amount for someone that has never gotten nib work done by Kirk. Like, I recommend him all the time.
Yeah.
And he's never done my nib work.
Really? But I love Kirk. We're good friends, and in fact, I'm trying to just figure out how many pens I'm going to take to Philly with me, so he can. I'm going to just say, here, I'm just going to hand them to you. Work on them and let me know.
Yeah. Basically, that's what I do with Matthew Chen. I go, I know it doesn't write right, but I need you to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's just whenever I'm at a pen show, the only time I ever get nib work done is Scriptus, because it's the quietest pen show and I can get nib work done before the show starts.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't book any nib appointments for Chicago last year because by the time we knew we were going to Chicago, the nib appointments were already gone. And so it's like, well, who knows what I'll do this year.
Do you sometimes, like, I forget or I just get waylaid, and I know with Kirk, he has so many appointments that you can book, and then he walk-ins.
Yeah.
He does
both.
So
my other issue with Chicago last year was that I guess still this year, it was, it's December, this was May, we're still in the same year. I had sort of forgotten that there were going to be, like, Chicago was such a last minute thing this year that I'd forgotten that there were going to be people to do nib work there. And I didn't bring pens to get nib work done to them.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be better planning this year.
Yeah, I forgot for one of the shows because I was so busy, But I was able to get squeezed in anyway. So it was fine. That was great. So, and then with the custom pen, they also put a bottle of ink in the box.
Oh, lovely.
And on the ink bottle, they engraved my name on the ink cap.
Oh, that's great.
It's very cool. So yes, from Monte Grappa, this was my Monte Grappa pen that I had purchased from there. So someone just said they wanted to. I will slowly show the haul.
How many pens did you come home with from Italy? If you had to put a number on it, how many pens?
Okay, so between my husband and I, or just me?
Sure. Let's include Peter in this. Sorry to throw you under the bus here, Peter, but I'm not actually.
Yeah, there was quite a few. The interesting thing was some of the pens that I did get to see were not in production yet. They had so I knew I was going to get them. So as soon as I got home, they said, okay, they're ready. So and I did not, all these pens, by the way, were shipped to me because the custom. And I don't want to carry all these boxes and everything with us, but we probably got about 10 pens, between the both of us. But that it says when I go to talk to about Leonardo, that's a different story. So I don't have those yet, and I'll talk about that when we get to Leonardo. So it was lovely meeting everybody, and I got to meet Giuseppe, the owner of Leonardo. I'm sorry, Monte Grappa, and it was so cool. So they have the beautiful showroom, but they take you upstairs, and they have their museum of pens, which is all the, it was just so cool to see a lot of the pens that they made, and, all the pictures on the wall about a lot of the celebrities and stuff that have the pen, that use the pens. And so that was, and just really lovely, warm people. They were, like I said, everybody's become a friend now. And that was lovely. So we then went to Bologna for the night, because the next morning, so Monte Grappa was like a day thing, and we went to Monte Grappa for that. And then when we got driven to Bologna, which is very, very close, and to go the next day to go to Scrivo and to meet Luca and his lovely wife Elena, and we got to go to their factory. And it's really kind of small. They have a lot of they have the main showroom, and then they have another room where they assemble all the pens and stuff that comes in. And so we didn't get to really see like pen turning or anything like that. But we were in the two things, and we got to see them assemble the parts that they had done already. So it was, and then our friend Jay, who does a lot of his own grinds, because he's, he does that. And he let Jay use one of the machines where you look through it and everything. I have videos of that, and Jay is grinding a nib there. And I thought that was, he was in his happy place. And
that's super cool.
Experience than just using the regular tools that he has, versus this this whole this whole magnifying, you put everything there, and it's like this big screen, and you just it was really interesting watching, having done it done. And then at Scrivo, when I was there, I got the Dandy, which is a beautiful Eloche pen, and I got it in, believe it or not, a flex fine, because with a fine flex, excuse me, you can have it right fine, but if you push on it, it can go almost to a broad.
Yeah,
a little bit. And it is super wet, super wonderful. And I just fell in love with the rose gold and with the matching nib. And it feels really nice in the hand too. I have like I've talked about it many times, I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I have to make sure it feels comfortable in the pen, not putting too much pressure if I'm having a flare up or something. But if I have a flare up, I can't really write, which kind of depresses me. But yes, this one, I actually was able to take this one with me because I ordered a few other things. But I took this one with me, and then they sent me a bunch, I got a bunch of their Scribo inks, and I don't know if anybody's seen the Scribo inks, but I love the way they stack on top of one another.
Oh, that's fun.
And wait 1 second. I can still talk, and wait 1 second, because believe it or not, I have them right here, and I'll show you what they look like on, take a couple. I'll just take two. But the bottles, yes, they're unusual. In fact, inside the showroom, they had the stack of empty bottles because they package them all themselves. So this
Those
is the
are so cool.
and basically you can stack them on top of one another like that.
I can't believe that in my stash of inks, I don't own
Scribo. They're beautiful. Oh, in fact, I took this one out. This is good that I took this one out because one of the pens that I purchased, I did see this, I was sworn to secrecy because it wasn't supposed to come out when it actually did come out. And, yeah, so I got to see some of the new production, and that's the thing when you go to some of these places, they said we can show you, but you can't say anything. And
so once you tell this story, I'm going to tell you a story about a pen that's sitting behind you that I sort of knew about for a couple months before it was actually out.
Okay. Yeah, just like like I've seen, like they just announced a Visconti pen, and I got to see them put the pieces together and the whole bit. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. So this is the other Scribo that I had, and I just love the die cast resin on it, and I'm going to butcher the name. I'm so going to butcher the name. It's terrible. The scars, I'm not even going to try. Okay. I'm apologize for that in advance. Just know that this pen, the proceeds, 30% of the proceeds are going to help flood victims. The day it rained a lot when we were in Italy, and especially around Bologna. We hit rain season, right? But in Bologna, they had the floods that came, and the day we left, because we left in the morning, the day after, the day we left, that the floods came, and there was a lot of people that had a lot of damage because of the floods. So at Scribo, they have two pens that they're dedicating to raise money for flood victims. So 30% of the proceeds are going to that. If you go to their website, you'll see they'll talk all about it, and even on their Instagram and everything. But this was beautiful. I absolutely love it. I wasn't sure what ink I was going to put into it, and then this is the one I put in there.
Oh,
and it's a
that's
really lovely pen. Yes. So there. Here we go. And yeah, so I bought this one. Afterwards, it came home when I was finally being able to be released, and I got sent this one, and I got it in a fine flex as well.
Okay.
I have a few Scribos. I have the medium flex, broad flex. I even have some that are broad that's not flex. 14 karat of flex, 18 karat or not.
I didn't know they made a broad flex.
Yeah, and it's juicy and broad. I mean, it goes from broad to So that's fun. They do make a broad flex. So let's see.
That lovely Visconti sitting behind you in the frame.
Yes.
Back in August, I did a 20 questions with Mark from Coles of London.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't tell me what it was. All he could say was, it's the next limited edition Visconti is releasing. And by accident, I happened to schedule the episode of 20 Questions for the Friday, and I think the pen came out on the Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the Thursday night, I am sending Mark a message on Instagram going, hey, you know in 20 Questions when you brought up this limited edition you'd only seen prototypes of that was coming out? Does it happen to be this pen?
Yeah, it was really cool to go to Visconti, because we did go to Visconti as well in Florence. And it was really cool to go there and actually see, because I had done a video of the pen, which
Yeah.
is on my YouTube channel, and he, I sent my contact at Visconti. How I got to Visconti, by the way, was one day I like to keep my pens. I'm going to back up just a bit.
Yeah.
I love to keep my pens in displays, and I wanted to see if Visconti would sell me their pen displays. You know, like their 8 or 10 pen holders.
Yeah.
And she said, so I sent an email to, like to info@Visconti and said, hey, I love Visconti pens. I have a few of them and I love to display my pens. And I was wondering if your pen tray, that's it, pen trays, if I could purchase a pen tray from you. And they said, yes, you can, but right now we're redesigning them and I'll let you know when they come out. And I said, well, we just got our first Grail Visconti, which was the Vincent Van Gogh, not Vincent Van Gogh, the Leonardo da Vinci Machina. I'm getting all my pens confused now, right? And I sent her my unboxing video of that pen. And she said, oh my God, if you ever come to Italy, please let me know. We'd love to have you and everything. So, and then I sent her the link to this one I had set up going there. And they couldn't be more warmer, more nicer. It was absolutely a thrill to go there and meet everybody. And there I could take, believe it or not, at Visconti, I could take pictures in the factory, but I could not take pictures of the grounds.
Okay.
And beautiful grounds. It's in an old villa that's like 400 years old. And the people that own the villa still live there. So there's a private home in there, and the people still live there. So I couldn't. Their gardens and the grounds are absolutely beautiful, but could not take pictures of the grounds. But I could take pictures inside the factory, which I did take. Some snapshots. I didn't want to make the whole trip me taking pictures and doing videos.
That's fair.
I wanted to enjoy the trip, and a lot of stuff, sometimes it's meant to be seen with your eyes, not through your lens. A great lady told me that she was one of my mentors in photography. And sometimes you just need to enjoy it with your eyes. And we did a lot of that. So I purposely did not take, as I call, the big girl camera. And I just used my iPhone the whole time. And that was perfectly fine for me. My friend Jay brought his camera, so I let him take all the pictures. So yes, you are talking about, of course, the Van Gogh.
The Van Gogh, which is a stunning pen.
It is amazing, and believe it or not, I have used it.
Have you?
Yes, I have, and I have used it a couple of times, and it is just the presentation alone is just outstanding. And
I have to admit, it's the pen I use when people say like, oh, $100 or $200 is a lot for a pen. I do pull up the Van Gogh on Atlas and go, oh, really? It's not. Like in comparison, like, yes, it is a lot of money for a pen, but in comparison to the pens on the market,
Yeah.
it's really not. And like our local Mont Blanc boutique has the like diamond encrusted ones in their displays, the really limited edition of like 10 ones.
Yeah, of $100,000.
I think they're 25 or 250,000 Canadian.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And it's like that's a stupidly expensive pen. I do not have Viscontis in my budget, but when a brand offers to send me a $200 to $500 pen, I'm not going to say no.
Right. I don't blame you. I mean, okay, so I'm a lot older than you are. And
most people in this hobby are not 24.
No, and I think it's wonderful that someone your age is so into it. And I can, it's refreshing. We have a few people we met at pen shows over a year ago who taken under our wing and stuff, and they live here in Florida area, so we get to see them often, and we're like now aunt and uncle, and it's just so cool to be able to sit and talk and chat and just discuss fountain pens. And I call him my nephew Jorge. His knowledge on pens for someone his age, he's 22, it is just unbelievable. And he'll come and he'll sit with Peter and they'll be up all night, talking pens and inking and trying to discuss what they're going to, which pens this week or this month they're going to use. So yes, it's great. I'm happy to see a lot of young people getting into it. I'm happy the next generation is an appreciation of this, because you don't want everything to die off.
Yeah.
People like fountain pen. That's something you put ink in. Really? Doesn't get messy. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah. Honestly, I still have red ink on my hand from 2 days ago. Like, but also, like, does it actually matter?
Nope. I opened up a box of inks being shipped from Pure Pens.
Okay.
And I opened the box, and the inks exploded in there. And did I put on the gloves? And I should have put the gloves on, and I didn't. I took pictures of everything. I took pictures of my hands. I actually sent it to Pure Pens. I lost, each pen, like a few of the bottles were fine. Some of the bottles, something to do with their lids, or I have no idea. But they took care of it and everything. And I found the best thing that works for me to get when it's so inky, Brillo pad.
Oh, yeah.
Brillo pad. And yeah, but yes, Kate, mess is fun.
Yes, I have a container of the Private Reserve, has like an ink buffer for your hands.
Yeah.
I have a container of it on its way to me. We'll see how well it works.
So it's almost like a lotion you put on your hands before you start inking?
No, it's like, it seems to be like sandpaper that you use to wash your hands to help it come off your hands.
Oh, that, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though there are products like that in the watercolor world. I think Winsor & Newton makes it. It's called like Liquid Glove.
Okay.
And I haven't tried it for ink, but I do know some paint making watercolor friends that really like it when they're making paint, so that stuff isn't just sticking to their hands. So I wonder if it would work for if you're using a permanent ink, so that you've got less staining your hands. That would be interesting to try.
When it gets up your nails, though, it's like, oh my God, they're gonna be there forever. And then you go and
then you just paint your nails and hide
exactly.
it.
Yep, exactly. That's what I do. So since I jumped and we talked about Visconti a little bit, I also, when I was there, they were just coming out with their carbon fiber.
Oh, that's pretty.
And the snap cap. and it is very pretty. It's actually it's a more lightweight. I love it. I did ink it, but I had to unink it because I'm going to have some nib work done on it. My choice, so I'm getting it prepared. But I did write with it and stuff, and it's a beautiful double power filler. And then I got a new ink. And my husband just wrote Pure Pens is my favorite, and they're not that, relatively speaking, and they're not that expensive. Pure Pens has some really pretty inks.
Don't have any of their inks, probably because I don't know how hard they are to get here. I just
Canada.
I just automatically assume that if I haven't heard of any Canadians talking about the ink line, that it's probably hard to get here.
So I'll tell you what, you're going to be at the Chicago Pen Show this year?
Yeah, I still have to find a brand that wants to sponsor 20 questions. I'm working on it.
Okay, well,
20 questions, or me going to Chicago only happens if I find at least a partial sponsor.
Okay. Well, if you do go, I will bring you some Pure Pen inks.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But it's like Christmas and no brand knows what their advertising budget for next year, or wants to commit to an advertising budget for next year.
Mm-hmm. Kate had a bad experience with Homo sapiens. I'm sorry to hear that. But
yeah, there were a couple of years there that Visconti nibs were meh.
Yeah. No, I know that's. But then if I get some, like, this is a nice nib. It's like I got it's going to have a cursive italic put on it.
Okay.
But yeah, so but for the most part, I've never had a problem with any of the Visconti nibs that I have.
Is cursive italic your custom grind nib of choice?
It's one that I like, right? Like I love that smooth cursive italic. I like Fude. I like, his Kurt does another one. His Waverly nib. I have a few. What I'm gonna do now, I want to get. I won't get it on my expensive pen because I want to see if I really like writing with it, but I want to get the spear point.
Oh, okay.
Because it's really fine, but on the reverse, it's broad.
Yeah.
The reverse writes.
And doesn't he? Yeah, he's got I think I was looking at it. He's got an architect that's then it's got a reverse needle point. I was looking at that.
Yeah, so I'm going to go play with getting some other type of grinds too. So, yeah, these two pens I want to have that put on there, and some of them I just leave the way they are. So which I have a lot of different ones, but now because I'm journaling more, especially like in a Hobonichi, I can't have fat nibs. It's just
no. Okay. No one says you can't. It's just
I know. All right. So in my Traveler, which one of these, I made a mess. Okay, because I used a bigger nib, and I'm like, in these, it's like I needed to do a finer nib, and so that's why now I have mixtures. So I think for Travelers and Hobonichi, I'll use the fine, and then everything else I can do my bigger nibs. But yes, you can use larger nibs for journaling.
Mm-hmm.
Or you'll come in.
Yeah, I think I'm flipping through my Travelers. I think I tend to write in mine with anything from like a broad to a fine, but like anything bigger than a broad is just.
Yes, and with the fine flex. The thing is, I shouldn't flex with it, because then it took forever to dry.
That's what blotting paper's for.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Actually, this came out pretty nice though, and that is with, that's with my Leonardo. In fact, it's one of these here, but it has the titanium nib on it.
Oh, that's a very pretty Leonardo.
Yeah, this is the celluloid Leonardo.
Mm.
So I actually got this at the pen show. The reason why I'm showing this now is because the Leonardos that I'm getting are being made.
Okay.
All
So
right.
how do you, clearly you've got a quantity of celluloid. I know how
Yes.
I store my celluloid. How do you store your celluloid pens
I
to
store my
minimize the combustibility risk of celluloid?
Right. So I use clear acrylic. I'm just pulling out one because this has some old celluloid. And these tend to go in a tray, like they're basically jewelry things that I do the inserts for. But these I have out on top of the other ones that are closed in. So my celluloids are all out in the open, like that.
Okay.
You can also leave the drawer,
Mm-hmm.
my Boston accent will come out, partially open to air in, but I grew up as a kid and it's like never leave your drawers partially open. That was that whole thing my mother or my grandmother would say because people would love you. So basically it drives me sometimes a little crazy. So my solution is I have a few of these clear acrylic boxes. And this one does not go in, it just sits out by itself because they're all individually stacked.
Okay.
So I have regular pens and then the celluloid sit on top out of the sleeve, basically. So do you keep some there just out in the open?
Yeah, so I only have 3 celluloid. They live on my desk in pen sleeves.
That's fine.
So
Because then it gets air, as long as, but I think if they're older, I think the combustibility of them weakens.
Yeah, and this one was my great grandfather's. It's from 1947.
Nice.
An
That's
old Waterman.
beautiful.
Missing the
Sack.
Sack still intact. Gold flex nib. It's a lovely pen. Spent the past 50 years before I found it living on a coffee mug with Sharpies on somebody's desk. But just happened to be in a corner of a room that was not in direct sunlight. And now it lives in a mug on my desk, also in a corner of a room that gets no sunlight, which also supposedly minimizes the combustibility of celluloid.
Yeah, we have, the pens are out in the open. My living room and dining area, they're not in direct sunlight, but they're, we get some brightness in here now. So, but they're not indirect. So they're kind of in a corner. So
this is a good question. You don't want to store celluloid pens stacked. I believe it was Montegrappa whose building caught on fire. One of the manufacturers' warehouses burnt down.
I don't know which one it was, but
if you Google it, there's a very informative documentary on YouTube about it. You don't want to store it in direct sunlight. Celluloid does not like to be hot.
No direct sunlight. You should let some air get to them.
Yeah.
Some air. It doesn't have to be totally out in the open. But this is the way we've been storing them now for the last couple of years, and they've been fine. No problems.
Yeah.
Thank God. I got to find some wood here. Oh yeah, whatever. But yeah, knock on wood, there's no problems. And we have a lot of celluloid, so.
And just having an awareness, I would say.
Yes, definitely.
That they are not a low risk pen to own.
Yeah, I mean, having them in a leather case or a rickshaw case can be okay, but you want to make sure that they get some air to it.
Yeah.
You know,
So
like,
I have mine. I have two of mine in leather sleeves, but they both have air around them. Oh, Yost is here.
hey, Yost, it's
Yost,
late where you are.
anything to add about the storing of celluloid pens, other than no direct sunlight, don't store them on top of each other, and make sure they get airflow. Like I store mine in sleeves so that they don't touch, but like they get airflow.
Yeah. And there's nothing like smell of celluloid, the camphor. So I'll tell you.
Yeah. But like the really old one, like the one from 1947, like does not have a smell anymore. But like if I picked it up one day and it was warm, I would be highly concerned.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Not
like,
these are fine.
Like celluloid doesn't tend to like feel any different than a normal pen until, from what I've heard, just before it catches on fire, and then it suddenly feels really warm. If you pick up a pen and it suddenly feels really warm, you probably have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Who was it? Wasn't it who that set one on fire?
Probably.
I think it was him on one of his shows.
Yeah.
But so let's see, because I jumped around and because
we were talking about Leonardo, and you were showing us celluloid Leonardo, and then
right. And I'll get back to Leonardo because I'm gonna go back and order.
All Yost said is celluloid is dangerous.
Yeah.
Which basically sums up celluloid. You do not own celluloid if you want something low risk. If you want something low risk, pick pretty much any other pen material.
Exactly. But they're beautiful. Do you have a bunker? Did you visit the bunker? No, I did not visit the bunker at Monte Grappa. They didn't take us out to the bunker because there were a few people there was a few people in the store. I wanted to go to the bunker. Maybe next time, because I'm planning to go to the Dutch Pen Show and I might go to Italy for a couple of days beforehand. You never know, not a couple of days. I need more time. So you never know.
Oh, Fig Boot.
Yeah.
Burned.
Yes.
Burned aggressively. Yeah. Yeah.
But he literally set it on fire on purpose. Oh, of course they didn't. You're so hot.
I
Thank
could
you,
see Fig Boot setting one on fire on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm
so
sure
hot,
it will
explode.
It is. I'm sure it was Monte Grappa who had the massive fire in the late 90s.
Well, Yost may know. So
Yost might
should know. Yeah.
There's a great YouTube documentary on it. It was like the second thing that came up when somebody told me the Waterman was celluloid, and I Googled what's celluloid, and I went, oh, Monte Grappa has had 2 fires. I went, okay. Oh, what's celluloid? And then I went, oh.
But we still buy it. And, people.
It's so pretty. Why would we not buy it? We just like, you take the proper safety precautions.
Exactly. So when we do, when we do travel, we make sure that all the drapes, like the shades and screens are down, and most of the time they are, but they're not really in direct sunlight. So we keep them pretty much safe. There's not much, and like he says, there's not much left.
Yeah, well, because it's also, again, it was covered in the documentary. It's incredibly expensive to make.
Like, well, you're not allowed to make it anymore.
Oh, you're not? Okay. The last time they made it, like, it's incredibly expensive to make.
Peter's in his office right now, listening from afar. He's stalking me.
All right.
So anyway, let me get back, because after Scribo, because we were going in this trajectory, then we get on a train and we go to Milan.
Okay.
And so Milan was beautiful, but we go to visit Santini. Santini is
Oh,
on the outskirts of Milan, so about an hour or so outside of Milan. And I did not take any picture of their factory because their factory is in their home. They have they bought this home that is 100-year-old winery. So their home is this estate, and it used to be an old winery, and it's over 100 years old. So it was really kind of cool to be in there and seeing all the antiques and everything. And then they took us down into the factory area. So we got to see turning of the pens and the machinery and making the nibs and the cap fans and the rings and then the slew of pen parts and everything that they have to be put together. And so I had a Santini that I bought at the DC Pen Show. And then when I was there, I couldn't decide what I wanted. And now I'm getting what I wanted. You know, sometimes you have to think about it. So I should be getting the new one that I just ordered this week. But this is my old one. This is the one I got at the DC Pen Show, and that's when it's called the Giant, and it's giant. Look at the size of that nib.
Is that a number 8?
Yes, it's a big boy, and it's a big nib, and this one's broad, and it's quite lovely. I've had it inked with a Kobe ink that matches the pen beautifully. Sometimes it's like, okay, here's the question. Do you ink your pen to match, or do you do an opposite?
Most of the time I ink a pen to match. So, okay, we've talked about a video that I filmed twice or 3 times, and I'm probably going to film a 4th time. Because I don't have the right ink match for this pen from Navaler. What I want is a chocolate brown. Somehow, in all of this and a box of ink samples, I do not have a chocolate brown ink.
And you can put a shimmer in that, by the way.
I have a shimmer in it, but I still don't have a chocolate brown ink.
What about, do you have the Diamine Coco shimmer? That's a nice one.
The issue is I can't get any of the Diamine lids off myself. And so I pretty much don't own any of the Diamine inks, because whenever I need to.
Bye, Yos. Thanks for tuning in. Talk later.
Whenever I need to use a Diamine ink, I have to ask Mom to open the bottle, and that's just a hassle. And so I don't own the right ink to match this pen. I've got an ink in it. I don't love the ink color that's in it because it's not the right match. And Canada Post is on strike, so I can't even order something to match it.
So what ink? But there's also pretty goldeny color. You know,
there are. So I currently have. Let's pull it. Let's watch. I currently have this in it, which isn't awful.
No, it's not awful at all. Ferris wheel press. Yes.
Yeah, it's something new. Don't ask me to pronounce it. They've started to get a bit more interesting with their names, and they've become less pronounceable for my broken brain.
Well, that's why I said I would not want to attempt. See, like on the Scribo, I could say the Dandy, but on these Garziza, I'm not even going there because I am just terrible. And
I would say most of the time my goal is to match. I'm very much a matchy girl. To the extent like I own 4 purples that are almost the same color because I wanted the perfect match for the Coco lavender. And then the color that I picked has promptly been discontinued. And so.
Well, it's funny because I have a Scribo Levante, the one that I call Tiffany Blue, and I put in there Tom Studios Raspberry.
Oh, that's fun.
And it's really pretty. So maybe try an opposite.
Yeah, I think I need to start doing that. I'm right now trying to clean out pens. I think my pile of pens to be cleaned is larger than my currently inked pile, which is what I want. I'm still working through pens I inked up for review after the Atlas Sidewalk sale. Because then I was getting new stuff in the studio as well, and it was like, well, I want to play with the new stuff as well. And so at one point I had like 30 something pens inked up on my desk, and I went, this is too much.
I know that feeling, but talk to Kari. Kari has like 180 pens inked.
I know. And I don't know how she does it.
I don't know either.
I am overwhelmed by like 15 pens inked up, and I had far too many on the go, and I'm now like, okay, we're cleaning everything that's like not essential.
Well,
if it's not eyedroppered, it's being cleaned, is sort of what I'm doing.
Well, that's the funny thing, because my nephew was here over the weekend, and he's like, because I have an Omas Paragon, the new one, Arco, and it has a double stack nib on it. It's weird. And he's like, Auntie Claire, it's not ink. I said, no, it ran out of ink, and I cleaned it out so I can ink another pen. Yeah. And so he said, well, I said, listen, if you want to take it home and exercise, go ahead, because he'll be back in a few weeks. So he left it was too cute. He left us a list, Peter and I. He said, these are the pens that Jorge stole for a couple of weeks. So he knew which ones he took. We said, yes, go ahead, have fun. You can, because we trust him. We know that he is a proper, like he's not going to damage the nib. In fact, he can work and like if there's an issue with the nib, small stuff, he's really good at that. So yeah, so just take it, that's fine, and he brings them back in better nib shape sometimes, I think, than when we got them. Really funny. I found this on my desk, the pens that Jorge stole, because sometimes he'll take some pens and Peter's like, I can't find the pen. I said, well, did Jorge borrow it? And he said, oh, yeah. So now we get the list.
Now you got the list.
Now we get the list.
My issue is I'll leave a pen somewhere in the house, and then I'll just like be wandering around the house going, okay, I know I was writing with this at some point in the past like 3 days, but what room of the house did I set this down in? And where has it been tidied to? Because
it's funny. I think I lost a pen.
Okay.
But Peter's not sure if we actually bought the pen. So so we're going back and forth because I can't even find the box. And I'm like, I was going to do a video on these. Esterbrook has done pens for Accutron watches.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've sold one at Scriptus.
Yeah. Peter has an Accutron watch, so I thought it would be kind of cool to do the Accutron pen with the Accutron watch. Mm-hmm. I have his watch, but they came out with the new one that's ebonite, and we have the rollerball, and I could have sworn we bought the fountain pen. And we're like, I looked I don't lose things. Like I say I don't lose things, right? So we're not sure, because it's not on the list, and I thought we bought it at the show before it came out, because we were able to pre-purchase it. Peter said we never bought the fountain pen, only the rollerball. So I was driving myself nuts thinking that we had both on the ebonite one, and we only have the rollerball. Yeah.
So seems like a good reason to buy a new Esterbrook. I believe the Accutron is currently up on the website, or it was last night.
Yes, it is. Now it is. We bought it before it was available.
It's
the rollerball.
Easy to fix, buy the
fountain pen.
And currently, I believe you can get 10% off on it, or 20%. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like maybe. I don't know. We have the rollerball. That's fine.
The rollerball.
Fountain pens that. We have a lot of different brands, and it's great. And I have a few Esterbrooks, and those are lovely. I'm not saying, but I'm getting overwhelmed. And I think at this point now in our collecting, I've become a little bit more picky. And there's some pens that there's some pens that I do want to, a couple of them that I previously loved that I will sell, or depending, I may do as a giveaway. And which ones I'm not sure yet, because sometimes I'll do a giveaway. But if the more expensive ones, then they'll probably sell them. Anything over a few $100s, then they'll try to sell them. But my husband's like, don't sell them. He doesn't want to sell. I was like, yeah, but I don't want to see a pen not be worked on, or not used. So that's another issue, So anyway, when we were the Santini's, we spent some lovely days with them. The lovely people. We went out and about, and they took us to show us the mountain area of where they live, and we went up to the mountain and the beautiful, gorgeous waterfalls. And
your husband's really throwing you under the bus.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, he really is. He's the one. You know what he is. I'm just looking. Thanks, Peter. I was in the middle of a Santini story, and you just popped up. You also, Claire. Thanks. I think right now in my fountain pen, because I'm doing fountain pen companion on the inks to keep track, right?
I like that you track, and I'm just like, there's a wall of ink behind me. I've got swatches. I don't know what I've sold in the past year from my ink collection. I went through my swatches to try and find an ink a couple days ago, and I'm like, I couldn't find the bottle, I couldn't find the sample of it, and I'm like 90% sure I sold the ink like 6 months ago. I'm like, nah.
Oh wow. I'm trying out new systems to store the inks. And so right now I got all my ink bottles out and about in containers that I'm organizing, all this stuff. So because he's teasing me now, because last night I couldn't sleep. So at 2:00 in the morning, I was organizing my inks again.
Honestly, if my office wasn't in the basement, I think I would spend far more of my late night insomnia hours down here puttering and tidying. I'm currently looking at, so I started doing Christmas cards in September.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started doing Christmas cards, I went, there's no point in putting watercolors away. I've pulled 80 something colors out of my watercolor palette. Why am I putting other stuff away? The palette's already a disaster. And so currently I'm looking at a floor around my desk that is littered with my watercolor trays, but also like glass palettes that are just covered in half pans from projects.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I need to put stuff away, but there's other stuff to do.
Yeah.
Why am I spending my time putting away watercolors?
Yeah, because you use them all the time.
I use them all the time. But I also know that at some point I'm going to reach for something in my studio palette. It's not going to be where I think it should be. And then I'm going to have to like spend 3 hours putting everything away so that I can find what I'm looking for.
Yeah, Suzette was here also this weekend. I know it's hard to part with some of the prettier stuff too, Kate. Suzette came, and this was also my birthday weekend. So I had company in for Thanksgiving and my birthday weekend. And Suzette, when she comes, because she lives just like an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
So she came and she kind of like goes through my supplies and helps me organize everything, because I get, again, like all my washi, all the stationery supplies, all the journaling supplies, the ephemera. So she comes over and it's like we sit and journal, but this weekend we couldn't. We had no time to journal. We were doing other stuff. But yeah, she's good because she's great at centering. It's like, well, we should do it this way, and I'm like, well, what about this way? And so we kind of collaborate on storing and stuff. And she loves to swatch inks. I just got a bunch of inks in, and she just saw them sitting there. She just grabbed the stuff and started swatching doing my swatch cards for me. You know?
Her swatches are very pretty.
Yes. Yeah. She's an amazing artist, I think, you know, her writing, her ideas on her, I guess you call it junk journaling when you put things together, like you have
Yeah.
all this, right? And I'm in awe, and she's taught me a lot, you know, which is wonderful. So I like having our journaling sessions. And we talked about Visconti, going there. And the last one was Naples. We went to Naples and we went to Leonardo. And the cool part in Leonardo, talking about celluloid, was Leonardo's, I'm sorry, Salvatore's father was there, Ciro.
Ooh.
And, you know, it's great learning about all the old Delta, whatever, of the history of all the pen manufacturers in the Naples area. And Ciro started up his own machine and his own lathe, I guess, and he got a piece of celluloid. Okay. And he turned a piece of celluloid, and the shavings that came off, he took a bunch of shavings and he started passing it around for us to all smell the celluloid shavings. And he was showing how you turn the pen.
Yeah.
And the body of it. And that was really cool. And then Salvatore took us through all the, like, how someone does all the clips, all the pen clips, how the pieces have been put together, how it goes through these, and it gets buffed out and everything, and how they get all the little, how they're all attached. And it was just amazing to watch. You know, it really was amazing to see and watch that part of the process. And he's moving where he is now, where his office is and his factory part, they're moving in the same complex to a bigger spot and opening up. And so when I was at the San Francisco Pen Show, helping out at the Leonardo table, across from us, I had Mark from Coles of London and Aboya. And Aboya makes amazing ebonite rods. And I figured, how cool would that to go pick out a couple of rods. And Salvatore went with me and helped me pick out the rods. And he has the rods to make my pens.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right. So I got to pick out different things that I wanted on the pen. So he has them there. So when I went to the factory, there are my rods sitting there with my name on it. Now it could take about 6 months or whatever, you know, because they're, you know, when it's yeah. And then while my friend Jay and his lovely wife Beth, Jay had, with Jonathan Brooks, designed his own rods, and Salvatore made his pen. We called his rods Blue Jay. It's a gorgeous blue with gold shimmer, diamond cat, whatever. It's just gorgeous rods, and his pens came out wonderful. And I was like, oh my God, I really love that. I really love your pen, or the rod that Jay made. And it's like, I really want one. So the night before we were going to Leonardo, Jay was, you know, he loves to kid around, and he's like, Claire, I don't think you're prepared to go visit Leonardo. Really? I'm like, what do you mean I'm not prepared? You know, I help out Sal and Salvatore and everything. I said, what do you mean I'm not prepared? And he's like, and he pulls out, he had a couple of rods with him, and he gifted me the rods so he could make a Blue Jay pen.
That's so cool.
So not only does he have the ebonite rods, my ebonite rods, he has the Blue Jay rods, and he has some other celluloid rods there. And I said, okay, so he's making me like 5 pens. So like the longest it takes, it's great because he'll make the pens, and then you know, take your time. You know, maybe pens at a time. I don't care if it takes a year right now. But,
spread them out a little bit in the production line.
Yeah, just spread them out. Give me some time to recoup.
Yeah, no, Leonardo makes, I have 2 I can't believe I'm saying these words. I have 2 Leonardos, both of which have been sent to me. One that you have the same one of.
Yeah, the Bella Donate.
Which is an absolutely stunning pen.
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I
Oh,
mean, the resins on it, it's.
And they look
really
so different. Your pen is such a different color than mine. And then I have, everyone in that collection was different.
Well, that's the thing about resins and working with different resins, because depending on how the pen is cut or the rod, when it's turned and stuff, because you don't know where things settle. And it's so funny because I have a Visconti pen and that I got a while ago, and this is before I realized that you can, if you're unhappy with something, this is like early on.
Oh, okay.
If I was so unhappy with the resin on it, the way the way it came, versus what I saw on the website, I could have returned it, but Peter liked it, so he uses it. But I was like, the streak of color, it wasn't swirled. It was like this one big streak, and I was like, I really don't gravitate. It doesn't. But he likes it, so he uses it, so that's fine. But, I think that's great that he likes it, and, but each one is different. And some people are like, well, why is her pen different than my pen? Well, no two rods are alike.
No. And the color variation, like there were some of these that were like very dark purple.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say mine is very pink.
Are you a pink girl?
I am. And I quite like it. It's very pretty. It's very pretty in sunlight. But the only pictures I'd seen of it until I opened my box were the purple version. And I was like, oh, this looks totally different. And it was also the very first resin pen I owned. And so it was like, oh, okay. This is the color variation people are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know if you ever saw, Heinz Company.
Yeah.
They had at one of I can't remember which pen show I was at, but I went to see her pour resins on how she does it and mixes it up. And then a few hours later, we go back and it hardened and she took it out of the,
That's cool.
It was very cool. I think it was I want to say the Orlando Pen Show last year, not this past year, in 2023.
Oh, okay.
But we all went back, and then she kind of got it out of once it hardened and everything. And it's pretty interesting. You can kind of mix it, and it would be kind of cool to do. I would love to go and do a whole rod type thing where you go and stir it up.
Oh, yeah. Well, because they can be so. Here's the other Leonardo Island. This is the Limited Pens Korea one. Like this one is just so different than.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You can have so much variation in resin pens.
Everything, because then when I was at I worked at the Leonardo table in DC and in San Francisco.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it again for 2025. I told them that I would help out. And I love doing it's fun for me. I would think that it would stop me from buying and shopping. No.
Honestly, I love being behind a booth. It's so fun. I loved being behind a booth with Esterbrook. I've already told them for next year that if they do Scriptus, and again, I want to be behind the booth. And if they end up doing Chicago, I would love to be behind the booth. It is so enjoyable. And I honestly spent about the same as I did the year before at Scriptus.
Like because you look down and you're like, okay, because sometimes they bring pens that are not on their website yet that they can do it, talk about the show and sell.
Yeah, we had vampires, and vampires weren't released yet, or King of the Night. That's what they were called. They weren't released yet. We had 4 Golden Gratitudes because we had the stash of Golden Gratitudes that they'd held on to in case there were any issues with people that bought Golden Gratitudes. But by the time the event happened, Golden Gratitudes, like the return period for them had ended, and so they were selling them, but they weren't on the table. People just had to ask for them. Like people had to go, oh, I really liked that pen. And then we got to pull them out from behind the table and go, actually, we've got them for sale. What else did we have? Like we had Jurassics, which weren't out yet. Like it was just, oh, and we had Bungo Box. We had the Bungo Box Esterbrook release, the pink one.
Yeah.
Those were gone. The show opened at 10. They were gone before 11 a.m. Like
I wanted to go to Scriptus this year, but Scriptus happened to be the same weekend I was coming back from Europe. So it's like, I can't say it was not working out.
It's an easy show to book for. It is always the last weekend in October.
Yeah.
So it's always the same weekend.
Yeah, I was really contemplating, but it was because of our trip and stuff. There was just no way that I could get off a plane and go back on a plane the next day. So
that's fair.
You know, so I really wanted to do it though. I said, so maybe next year. Oh, so she has both the King of the Night and the Jurassic with the Fude. Nice.
Yeah, because the Fude was released with the Jurassic pen. I think they'd been available at London the week before, and then we had them at Scriptus.
Oh, Paper Mouse. I like Paper Mouse. I've been there.
Yeah.
In Boston, when I have to go up to Boston, I go there, and it's a really cute little store. So
I follow them on Instagram for absolutely no reason, but they're still super cute.
It's super cute. I went in there and I'm like, okay, I like this and I like that. In fact, I bought some Traveler stuff the last time I was up there, and I'm going to go to Yoseka this week as well when I'm in New York. I like all the, like, when I went to do Stationery Fest, I could never get into the store.
Oh,
that was a whole other, yeah. The Stationery Fest, I just was very unhappy with it. So
I have a policy about not going to events the first year of the event until I can see how they play out accessibility wise.
Yeah.
And everything I saw from Stationery Fest told me that I would not want to attend.
No,
I would rather.
I thought it was poorly organized. And I mean, yes, there were some things we could do and have fun, but it was extremely crowded. And one of the things that when you were like a pass holder, at other shows, when you're a VIP pass holder, like you get to go early, you get to do a few other. No, we had to go wait.
Like Chicago last year, we got early shopping.
Yep.
Saturday shopping, or Thursday. The show started on Thursday. We got to shop all day. Thursday was just people that had a weekend pass. There was a pizza event. There were other evening events. Like, it made sense to have a weekend pass for Chicago. But
yeah, I'm going to Chicago with my friend Sue and Sue Beck.
Yep.
Yeah, Sue Beck. So
Sue has done 20 questions.
That's right. I forgot she did 20 questions the same time I did. Yes, I remember that now.
I believe Kari kidnapped both you and Sue.
Yeah, she did. I love Kari. She's super cool. She's great. And but yeah, we're gonna. When I was in Europe, I got a text from Sue. She said, "I bought the VIP. I didn't even ask you. We're going to Chicago Fest." I'm like, okay, so it's fine.
Our tickets are. See, I haven't even bought, like, because I am yet to find a sponsor for the event for 20 questions. We booked our hotel rooms. I don't have my tickets yet.
Well, that's the thing. I tell people, if you think about going to a show, book your hotel room, because you don't get charged until you don't get charged, and you can cancel up to 3 days before the event. If you don't know that you're going to go to the event 3 days before the event, I mean, you should know, because you have to book your airlines or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I always tell people to go ahead, and that's to go ahead and if you think you're going to go, just book the hotel. You can always cancel that. There's no charge or penalties. And right now I'm finding for the airlines to be difficult to go to Chicago right now. And I'm hoping that it changes, because now with season, or more travel, there'll be more options. But I'm not leaving Florida to go to Boston to go to Chicago. So I'm trying I have to look at different airlines to see what I can get. Because last time I went to Chicago, I know it was a nonstop flight, and I have to check when I went to Chicago in May what airline I used. But if I usually always use JetBlue, and right now JetBlue is going from Florida to Boston to Chicago, and I said I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll drive or we'll fly. Like it's a 9-hour drive, but it costs about the same to drive or to fly.
Yeah, for me, I'm not going to drive by myself, so it's just too long of a drive. It's just too long of a drive. If there were a few of us going from here, it would be different. We could always take turns from there. But I really don't need a car when I'm there either. So
yeah.
But let's see. Now, let's wrap this up as far because
All right.
And by the way, so I did not only do pens while I was in Italy. We got to do a lot of other sightseeing stuff, which was pretty cool. When I was in Amsterdam, I went to the Van Gogh Museum, which was really cool. Then in Italy, of course, I told you, like in Venice, there was no pens. Did a lot of St. Mark's. We went to the Jewish ghetto, got to go around to different places and walk. One day I went out by myself from 10 in the morning till about 4 in the afternoon and just kind of got lost through Venice and just walked. So I enjoyed that. In Naples, after we left, we left Leonardo. The next day we went and toured the Amalfi Coast, which was amazing. It was absolutely beautiful. We took a drive. We had the driver that took us on the drive through Amalfi and then took us to the train station. We did planes, trains, and automobiles through this whole thing. So, and then our last stop on this was Rome. And then, we went to the few museums in Rome and got to see the statue of David and no, wait a minute. Am I all screwed up on my thing? No, sorry, take that back. David was in Florence. We went to the museums in Florence. In Rome, we went again I wanted to go to the Trevi Fountain. I was all excited. We go to the Trevi Fountain and it's closed.
Yep. There's some big event happening next year.
Yes, so some anniversary. So I was all upset, and I was kind of more upset with the travel agent. They should have known and said, hey, there's a big event. There's a lot of things that you'd want to see. And anyway, in Rome, we did a walking tour. The Rosins and my husband couldn't do the walking tours. The cobblestone streets were just too hard. So he would kind of stay back and kind of work. He still had to work, do some work and stuff. So while we're away, those walking tour days, he could get work done. You can work from anywhere with your laptop, right?
Yep.
So, and again, we went through the Jewish ghetto. We went to oh my God, the markets, the fresh fruit and vegetable market were just amazing. I said, if I had rented an apartment in Rome for like a month, I could see what I could cook. I've never seen vegetables just so amazingly beautiful. And then we, took off and we went to the Spanish Steps, and I said, okay, I'm here. I can see them. I'm not walking. But it was, and just the old world square and stuff. We did go to 2 retailers in Rome. Okay. So one of them was Novelli. Our friends, the Rosins, know they've been in contact with people for over 15 years or so or more. And so we got introduced to them. Very lovely. So there's Novelli. And then we went to Stilografica Cassani. Cassani, they just celebrated their 100th anniversary of having the store. And the store is in the same location that his grandfather started way back when. Grandfather or great-grandfather? It's 100 years. They just celebrated, and they came out with their 100th anniversary pen in a collaboration with Delta. And look at that. Look at that back. I love the feed on this pen. You know, and it's beautiful. This is ebonite body. Wait a minute. Yeah, ebonite, I believe. Yes. And it's just absolutely beautiful. I haven't decided what I'm making with this yet. So, it's really nice. I think I got a broad nib. This one has a broad. So many choices.
There are, because you've got all those like colors that you could match to like the middle section.
Exactly. It's not just plain.
I would have probably, I would probably pick something that's in that middle section rather than the cap.
Right. And this one here, this cap has like some sparkle on it, like a sparkle on it. And they did 3 colors of these pens, and they're only 25 per in the collection. So it's very then after Rome, we did go to Prague for a few days to visit another friend who happens to be the conductor of the Prague Symphony Orchestra. And how we met with him was basically vintage Mont Blanc. He restores vintage Mont Blancs in his spare time.
Oh,
okay.
Any chance he wants to do 20 questions?
He probably would love to.
Can you put me in touch?
I will ask him. I will ask him.
I appreciate
because
it.
he is so interesting. He is amazing. I think he's wonderful. We had the best time with him. He took us to this place in Prague in this tower. The restaurant was way up and we could overlook the city at night. And we had the best time. It was just beautiful to see Prague at night. I went out myself. Peter and I took a car tour in a 1920s car that had no, it's all open.
Yeah, I saw you posted a picture of that on Instagram.
Yeah. And so for 2 hours, we were driven around Prague, and it was great for him because he got to enjoy seeing Prague that way. And it was so funny because the driver was English driver explaining things. And I'm really good with accents, and so isn't Peter. And he was saying, "Oh, I want to take you to see the dancing cows." I'm like, "Okay, great. We like unusual art." And he meant the dancing house, which is an architectural. It's a building that was made after Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, and it's called the Dancing House.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I'm like, I was like, is he saying dancing cows? Because we're in the back and it's a speaker, and we both thought he was talking about these dancing. So yes, a little bit, but we thought it was funny. We were like laughing, and I said, "Oh my God, I thought you said something else," but it was really. Prague is amazing, and I want to go back and spend more time there. I went down and walked through the old square, and it's just so worldly and pristine, which is beautiful. And then after that, we came home. So we're 3 weeks away, and it went by really quickly. It was kind of sad that it was over. But and I did buy a pen in Prague, but it's too far for me to get. I went into you're gonna laugh. I bought a Lamy Safari in Prague that says "I love Prague." Okay, so I did buy a pen in Prague.
You bought a pen in Prague.
Yep, I did. I bought a pen in Prague. Mm-hmm. I thought it was too funny. Peter's like, oh, because I went out for a walk and I said, I bought a pen. He said, you bought a pen? What did you? I said, yeah, look, I bought a lot of some. There was one pen store. They had it was like an art stationery store, and they had fountain pens in there. They
Yep.
had some Monty and Waterman, and it was a cute art store. And they had some, and I saw it. It said, "I love Prague." So yes, I bought that. But yeah, so that is our adventure of our European trip, European vacation. Peter said, I really would have enjoyed it. Yeah, you got it up. The building. It was really cool. It was interesting. I thought it was interesting. It's like I showed a picture of it on Instagram, and a friend of mine's, oh, the dancing house. She's been there, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the dancing house, and the astronomical clock, in the center, the town, and then walk. I did a lot of walking around. I actually went into the Mont Blanc store there. So I did go into Mont Blanc, and it was a beautiful boutique, but I'm not buying them. I'll buy Mont Blancs here.
Yeah. I have a friend in the Canadian fountain pen group who does visit Mont Blanc stores in other countries, because unlike here, they tend to stock a lot of the limited edition inks for a very long time after the collections have been released.
That's what I did look for, but they didn't have any. They were all out.
She, it was last year, ended up getting like 4 inks on one of her European trips that had been like sold out here for like 18 months. And I was like...
Oh, at Stiligraphica Corsani, they also sell Mont Blancs in his store. So he has a whole big Mont Blanc. I mean, his store is tiny. Okay, tiny. It looks so much bigger on his when he does his YouTubes. It looks bigger than what it is. It's
sometime when you come to Canada, I'll have to take you to the Toronto Pen Shop, because Nelmar, that storefront is maybe the size of, maybe a little bit bigger than the like room I'm sitting in to film this, and it is packed floor to ceiling.
Yeah, that's the same thing with the Corsani. So Peter was looking at, he's always looking for different Mont Blanc ball points, roller balls, ink cartridges, and even inks. Like you said, always looking for that.
Yeah.
So I look in the thing, and I'm really good. So in my little eye, I spot a box of cartridges that said Corn Poppy Red. I know, can't get that anywhere. Nope. So I said, do you have any more? And then I flipped through, because I could tell the boxes were a different color. And I said, is that Corn Poppy Red? And sure enough, it was. But he was able to get, Peter was able to get a lot of the other things that he's looking for some of our other pens. But he likes color, and so he was looking for the different colors in the ballpoints and roller balls. Anything other than Disney yellow, because that was the color they ever did. I don't know if you ever saw it.
I did see Disney yellow. My thing with yellows is, like, if the only time I like them, and I would like a bottle of Disney yellow purely because, like, if you're mixing your own ink colors, a true yellow can be really useful. It's useless for anything else. But a true yellow, like if you're trying to alter an ink color, you sort of need like a cyan, a magenta, and a yellow.
Yeah. Well, also another thing that they're good for is we do the pen and ink challenges. And sometimes I try to get a little creative, and I may try to draw, which I'm not an artist by any means. I kind of trace and stuff. And but sometimes it's good to have as an accent color, or use it to paint with.
Yeah.
So I painted with a lot of my fountain pen inks.
Oh, I do the same thing. On the note of vintage Mont Blanc rollerballs and ballpoints, Toronto Pen Shop, who I bought my lovely pen from that you helped with, does have some vintage Mont Blanc rollerballs and ballpoints.
Okay. I could see. I could see myself going to Toronto. Because it'll probably be after the winter though.
Yeah, they aren't on the website. None of the consignment stuff he has currently is on the website, so you have to call about it. But they do have some consignment currently.
Very cool. Yeah, I would love to see that. I have friends that live in Toronto as well. And then now, are you in Toronto or just outside of Toronto?
It's complicated, Claire. Right now, I am at this moment not in Toronto.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. It's complicated.
We'll leave it at that. It's complicated.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. And I can totally understand that. How far are you away from the Toronto Pen Shop?
When we're in the city, I'm about 15 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
No.
Oh, no, that's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pain to get to right now because the Distillery District's having a Christmas market. And so parking is not actually at the Distillery District right now. It's a couple blocks away, and it's a bit of a...
I lost you. Did I lose you?
Am I back?
You're back. Yeah, I got you. Okay.
The Distillery District's having a Christmas market. It's a pain with crutches. Parking's not at the event. It's a couple blocks away. So I sort of avoided until like mid-January.
Yeah.
It was like I saw Nelmar mid-November, and he was like, "I'll see you again January," and I went, "Yep."
Yep.
No,
I listened to my girlfriend Simone, who's my photography partner as well. She comes to Florida for the winter time.
Yeah.
And and she lives in Toronto. I've gone to visit her there. And she I lost my train of thought. So anyway, so I will go visit her probably because she'll be here in the winter. So after the winter, when they go back, I'm going to try to go to Toronto again to visit there. And but yeah, she tells me all the time how parking can be a bitch. Basically, it's terrible. And yeah, she's always complaining when she has to go downtown. Yeah. I said, but when you live in the city, sometimes that's the way it is too, with traffic and everything.
Yeah, and right now we have 2 transit lines being built in the city of Toronto. So you've got entire street blocks being dug up. And all of our bike lanes are being ripped out because apparently we don't need bike lanes in the city of Toronto.
Really? When we were in Amsterdam, I couldn't get over the amount of bikes, people bicycles. They don't want people driving cars. I couldn't get over how many people are on bikes. They were like every...
Toronto's an interesting place to live. Let's leave it at that.
Okay. Oh, when I was in Amsterdam too, I went to we were of course went to Appelboom, and then we decided after we went to the Van Gogh Museum, we went to P.W. Ackerman's. I didn't know that there's 2 Ackermans. So at P.W. Ackerman, you cannot get Ackerman inks. I don't know. I think there was a split somewhere. So,
but doesn't P.W. Ackerman carry Ackerman inks?
No, it's Ackerman that carries Ackerman inks. There's a different, yeah. There was no. I didn't see any Ackerman inks there. So
whatever. I can't get them here anyways. It doesn't matter to me.
No, and you mean how about Stephen Brown? Can he get them for you? No.
Real, I can't even get Stevens ink. Like no Canadian shop carries Stevens ink. So I can't even get his ink in Canada.
Mm.
So
And then
next
forget
time,
it getting it from like
yeah,
Atlas or somewhere.
the Atlas doesn't carry it either.
No?
Like the next, I think Van Ness has it. So the next, really, the next time I'm in the States for a US pen show, I just need to make an order to somebody's house so that they can bring me whatever I need that I can't get here. Which is
Right.
basically what I do with Atlas, is that I ordered what I thought was an 8-month supply of cola ring dippers last time I was there, because you can't get them in Canada anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And
What are they? I'm sorry. The what? Oh, the color rings.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't get them in Canada anymore. And
That's
so when
weird.
I was in Atlas in August, I bought what I hoped was an 8-month supply of them, because it's like, what else am I supposed to do?
So you do both. You have it on the rings and then you do it in
Yep,
your Rolodex.
yep. Well, because the Rolodex came with paper in it already.
Yeah.
And so I have a set of the Cola Ring Rolodex cards. I haven't opened them because, for the most part, I find that the Rolodex actual paper, if something feathers on the Rolodex paper, it's going to feather in my notebooks.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas lots of things won't feather on the Cola Ring paper, but then will feather in my notebooks. And so I'd rather have it tested on a paper that's going to act more similarly to what I use. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's something that I know is going to sheen a bunch, yeah, I'll use Cola Ring Rolodex paper. But other than that, like, it doesn't matter to me. I would rather have a better representation of what it's actually going to look like on the paper I write
Right.
on.
Do you use Fountain Pen Companion to? No. I
No.
just started doing that because we have I don't even, it's an obscene amount. I just, and I guess you can do standings. I'm not, as far as like people that own bottles of ink on the bottle stuff. So I'm not near, there's more people out there that have more bottles than I do,
Yeah.
but I think I've seen amount of bottles of ink.
Yeah. So I use a spreadsheet, which is nowhere close to being up to date. That's a Christmas break project.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've updated it. I think I updated it after Chicago, but I don't think I've updated it since then.
I find, yeah, well, that I was doing an Excel spreadsheet all the time.
Yeah.
And I just found it easier, believe it, it's Fountain Pen Companion's a free thing. He does take donations, but it's a really interesting, I think it's an interesting site to use. It's fairly simple. I inks you can have on your inks, you can have that choice of being private or public. And public means that it just calculates where you are in the standings with the amount of bottles. So I don't care if people know. I think it's kind of fun to look at the standings. But if you put pens in there, pens are kept privately.
Oh, that's
So
probably a good thing.
no one can really see what you have for, uh, let me see. I'm going to go right now to my Fountain Pen Companion and I'll tell you if it comes up. Oh, yeah. So right now it tells me, oh, I don't even want to tell you how many. I'll just tell you where I am in the standings.
That's fair.
Okay. As far as the amount of inks, your rank on the leaderboards.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm like 135 on brands. So that's where I'm ranked. I have a friend that's number 14 on brands because her goal is to own as many brands as that is out there. So there's, I'm on bottles. I'm ranked number 44. So there are people that have more bottles than I do. And on inks, oh, I get it, 105. And I think because we have a lot of doubles or triples, because we're always worried if we have an ink that we really like, if it gets discontinued. Peter's like, do we have more than 25 ink bottles? He's trying to throw me under the bus and saying how many.
He's Yeah, but also, does Peter understand that this section of the shelf is quadruple? Actually, it's 5 stacked and 3 to 4 high. Like, I'm just hiding it. Like, but also, this doesn't include any of my doubles. I'm looking at my pile of doubles because Ferris Wheel Press just discontinued almost 40 colors,
Really?
including the main color Mom uses and my 3 core colors. And so I now have 3 bottles of Madame Mulberry, 3 bottles of Dusk and Bloom. Mom has 2 bottles of Stroke of Midnight. I have 2 bottles of Grape Ice Pop. Like, this is absurd. And there is not space for them up here. So I just have a pile of duplicates.
Well, I have a big, see, like I have these storage cabinets here.
Yeah.
This is the dining area. I won't give those up that's for dining, okay? But we have a big TV, the same kind of setup in the TV area, and all those drawers have inks in it. And then over here where I have inks over here on this side piece, and it's just ridiculous. And we end up having Peter didn't realize that I ordered the Great Gatsby, the new Mont Blanc Great Gatsby ink, and he ordered it himself from Touffet, and I ordered it from Mont Blanc because I was on the phone with my person at the boutique I go to and says we have it. So we had 4 bottles of the Great Gatsby ink, which I
Did you just
gifted
say 4?
4. Mm-hmm.
But
I gifted 1 bottle away, so I did
you
gift
gifted 1 bottle away. My sales associate offered me the ability to purchase it, and I went, yeah, I don't do greens.
It's like pretty.
Yeah, but I don't like.
Yeah.
I'm on the Jane Austen wait list because they think they'll be getting more of it. Mm-hmm. I've been waiting for Toffee Brown to come back in stock now for probably 8 months. I am convinced they have discontinued the color because
we have some of that. But yeah, it's absolutely, I can tell you, see, that's why, and as soon as I swatch the ink, it's easy for me to sit here and plug it into Fountain Pen Companion. Okay, see? If I go, let me see. If I go to my inks and go to look at the only thing I wish I could do is search it by, I can search it by, let's say, Mont Blanc, right?
Yeah.
But it won't tell me how many. I'd have to count it myself, or the spreadsheet. It's a little different.
That's what I like about this. It's in alphabetical order by swatch, by brand, and so.
Well, I can just go down to let me see. I can go. They keep them in order, which is great. So I can go down to, I have 2 bottles of Irish Green.
Okay.
I can look at this way. We have a few of those. Peter's like, as soon as we you start using a bottle and we like the ink, we have to get another one. We're afraid we're going to.
To be fair, I like Peter's logic there. If Mont Blanc ever discontinues Midnight Blue, I might just have a meltdown because it is the only dark blue that I use, and it is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful color. I do like my.
So pretty.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. I want to do more videos because I keep saying I'm going to do it, and the problem is with traveling so much, it's really hard to sit get into that frame of mind where I have to think about what I'm going to say. I'm off the cuff. I'm not scripted. Okay.
Oh, I don't script anything.
No, I don't.
Other than the 20 questions list of questions, which even after 50 episodes, I still have to read out the questions from my phone because I don't have them memorized. Nothing on this channel scripted.
Right. I'm just like looking because we have a bunch of writer edition. Like I said, I wanted to start taking some of like my Mont Blancs and like the writer's edition and just
Mhm.
kind of go over the pens and just kind of this is what we, and I do use, that's but the problem is I want to do them and say, hey, and then show some of the ones that are already inked, but I'm not inking every single writer's edition, you know? Nah.
Yeah, I just I do videos like that where like sometimes I just dip a pen for a video
Yeah.
because I don't it's way easier to clean a pen that you've just dipped than to fully clean a pen.
Well, I did that with my Alfred Hitchcock because I wanted to use the Alfred Hitchcock. It was a pen and ink challenge, and the Alfred Hitchcock pen fit the theme for that day.
Mhm.
And I ended up using that, and I'm like, and it writes beautifully. But I said, until I unink some of these other pens, but I said, I'm just going to dip it. And I
Yeah.
did dip it. And I got to write a whole lot with it. And I'm like, this was way easier than filling it up to clean it.
No, I dip stuff all the time, which
Yeah.
is part of the reason that I'm realizing that I can clean out so many pens is because really there are probably 6 pens that I reach for fairly often. They're the
Mm-hmm.
ones that I have, like, assigned or I have assigned colors in my planner so that I, like, know what's going on when I look at something, like, as soon as I see the color, I know, "Oh, this is a YouTube video," like, etcetera. And so, really, I just need a pen inked up in each one of those color families. I don't
Right.
need all these pens inked up, and they don't also have to be the same pen that I've been using. I can as long as a pen has a similar color of ink in it, it still serves the same purpose.
Exactly. I agree. I agree with that. I mean, that's why I get so frustrated. I get a little frustrated. Like, I'm like, oh, but I want to use this pen, but I have too many pens inked. Okay, well, I have to write with this. So the pen runs out, the ink runs out, so I can justify inking up another pen. And then I'm like, why am I filling up the pens all the way? I could just fill them up a little bit.
I love doing partial fills.
Yeah. So I'm
Very
learning. I'm learning through all this process of, you know, but yeah, I have videos that I'd like to do. There's, um, the video on the reasons why I buy certain pens.
mhm.
Uh, there's a few other, basically kind of talking about the collections a little bit and, what I've learned at my age and wanting to just have fun now. At this point in our lives, we can sit back and have fun. And, we've worked very hard our whole life since we were kids. I grew up, yes, I said I grew up in a factory, but we weren't handed stuff. We had to work for it. So now that, things are done, now we can sit back a little bit and enjoy it and pen able when we want to. And, you never know what we'll do because we love, sharing the joy a little bit and just have fun with it, and if I can help other people out, that brings me joy is helping other people.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's a fun I don't know, enjoy writing with a fountain pen so much more than
Yeah,
any
it's
other writing instrument.
because you have to take your time. It's what I noticed when I grab my pen and I'm wanting to write fast and it's like, okay, this list got crap, but or I'm like, why is my pen skipping? Or why is my this skipping? And I know it's because I'm not taking my time. I'm not holding it the way I should hold it because I'm trying to do something really fast.
Yeah.
With a fun pen, it makes you slow down and really, you can really take your time and think about what you want to write and enjoy that, like Scribo, feel the writing, you know? And I really believe in that. It's really enjoying the writing, really sitting down and people like, we gave my nephew a pen for his 15th birthday. It was Peter went to the store and he said, I got to teach this kid, my nephew Peter at 15, 15. I have a nephew named Peter. Too many Peters. And we got him a ballpoint Mont Blanc.
Okay.
Okay. Nice starter pen, because he just got into prep school. So it was a combination, birthday present and congratulations, you got into prep school. Oh, thank you for the pen, but I don't know how to write. That's because they don't teach handwriting at school. They don't teach writing in school. Everybody's too busy like this. And during COVID, the kids were like learning their iPads or laptops and stuff. So everything's a keyboard.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that they're starting to enforce that they bring back writing or handwriting back to school, because I mean, you still have to sign papers.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to write your name, I mean, so anyway, and it's so funny because my niece, who's older, loves fountain pens and writes with them than her brother. We're just saying he's just a boy. But
yeah, like I was in the last, I think I was in the last year of cursive being taught in elementary school in Canada or in Ontario, and they've only just brought it back. Like there was, I think, probably a 15-year gap where they weren't teaching it, and then they went, oh, this is actually a problem, we need to bring it back, and they've brought it back within the last like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I think that it needs to be back.
And like proper print again, because I think I was like 7 and 8 when those lessons started in school. Like, this is how you do your cursive letters. And like my cursive, I got the Estabrook package. Like my cursive capitals do not look that nice. And I'm going, that's how you're supposed to flourish a B properly. My B's don't look like that. My B's have never looked like that, because I had 2 years of cursive, and then cursive no longer existed in schools.
Right. I took some, I can remember before my daughter was born, so with like 34, she would have been 34 this in November. So before she was born, I was taking, so about 35, 36 years ago, I took calligraphy classes. And, just to learn, I always had great handwriting. My mother did, my grandmother did. So it was something that, took the time with, just to, have some pretty handwriting. Now at this age, and I'm 63, or my husband says, oh, you've turned 20, 21 3 times. I still want to learn different fonts. I still want to learn more. Someone said to me one time, when do you think you've learned enough? My answer was, a stupid person thinks they know everything, and a smart person wants to still learn.
My grandmother is 88 years old and still takes continuing education classes.
God bless her. That's wonderful, because you know why? People that are retired, if they don't do something, they need to do something. They need to keep using their brain, basically, because I've seen it with people. I have a girlfriend now who's 67, and she's got dementia, and COVID was a big part of that, because they didn't do anything. Was she predestined for it? Probably. But oh my God, this is so cool. I love that, Amy. That's wonderful.
My grandmother takes continuing education classes, and meets up with her friends once a week to craft and complain about life.
Oh yeah, Claire, your husband's right. 3 times 21.
Yeah.
Peter's always right.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot he was listening.
Who knows? Peter might have gotten distracted.
He might have. He could have if he hasn't responded, maybe he's snoozing. I have a friend. She passed away a week shy of her 105th birthday. And I was out with her a couple of weeks prior. She used to be on Instagram, Facebook. She used to help out at the charity events.
Yep.
She was amazing. We were out for brunch and we had amazing conversations. What happened was before she passed, she got pneumonia. She was sharp as a tack. It's because she kept doing things. She kept keeping stuff. Nope, right here. Proud of both grandmothers. Yeah, they're amazing people. Oh, yeah, he is. He's yeah, I work at a community college. That's great, Kate. I think people need to keep doing something, and that's the reason why I want to keep learning. I mean, we still have a business up north, and I help out when I can. Peter does primarily most of everything now. From here, we have a great manager, but he's on the phone with them 10 times a day. So we keep, we keep doing stuff, and that's why I keep wanting to learn more, take some classes. I go out and shoot them. I haven't picked up my camera for a while since I got more into the pen stuff, but eventually I will get back to that.
On the note of handwriting, so Mom a very long time ago had made the comment that my handwriting had changed significantly with the brain injury. I did not realize how much my handwriting had changed until I was going through papers from university, because for those that don't know, I was diagnosed at the end of first year. I passed most of my first year exams with stage 4 cancer. And I pulled out one of my final papers and I was looking at it and going, whose handwriting is this? And it was mine. But because my handwriting has totally changed, because the side of my brain that works has totally changed. And so my handwriting is basically unrecognizable to anyone in the family. Everyone else in the family recognizes my previous handwriting. And I recognize my current handwriting and look at my old handwriting and go, I don't know who wrote this.
You'll get back to it. Peter wants to know what other than the Toffee Brown or the Jane Austen ink, any other that you're looking for.
Pop Pink is on my list.
Oh my God, you want to hear something funny about Pop Pink?
Yes.
So we had
because I want it. You know which pen I want it for. We've talked about this pen before. I want it for this pen.
Pop Pink would be perfect for that.
I know. And again, much like Toffee Brown, I've had it on order for months, and the boutique just hasn't gotten any in. I also really like the Arthur Conan Doyle Writer's Edition.
Wait a minute, I think I have that one too. I believe I do have that ink. Let me see. Do I have the? No, I don't have that one. I'm sorry, I take that back. I have the pen, and I'm looking for the ink.
See, the pen is. I love The Lost World is one of my favorite books, and I love the little dinosaur. Do you have the dinosaur version in the magnifying glass on the clip, or the other version?
No, I have Baker Street.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at the pen now.
There are two versions. There's
no, I have. I don't want to see some. How they have the special editions, and they have the special editions are the. I don't want to say cheaper versions because they're expensive as it is, but yes, that's. But I tend to like a resin grip section more than silver or steel one.
Yeah.
But I do have some of Mont Blancs that have that, like, the Jane Austen and stuff. And they're fine. They write lovely. I can write with them, but sometimes depending on the section or how it fits with my hand. But yeah, it's no. So I have the other one. But hey, if anybody, if one became available to add to the collection, that was probably very reasonably. It'd have to be very reasonably priced. You know.
I just, I love the little dinosaur in the magnifying glass. Like, it was the first Mont Blanc special edition, and still the only one that I've absolutely fallen in love with, and it is so far out of my price range.
Yeah,
Like,
I actually made the one that I got, a friend of mine was selling his.
okay.
And this is funny. Okay, so I got to do pop pink and this story. So it's
Yeah.
funny. So he was selling his, and I said, nah, you know, and it's previously loved, but I know his pens and he keeps them really well. I said, no, I don't want to spend that much right now. I have to wait. On order on my secret source. It's his job to get them to you. Yeah, okay. See what I mean? That's the way he is. He has a secret source. Oh, don't. I want to give you a hug now. So,
like that. That's
oh,
like
no,
my pen budget for 3 months.
Oh, well, no, he has we have a secret source.
Oh, like that is. I have to get a sponsor for pen shows because, like, I have no income, and so most of this ink is from friends' collections when they destash. Like, I do not have the money to be in this hobby, and that's like my pen budget for 3 months.
Well, yes, I will. We will get them to you. So the pop. Okay, so I made a deal with a friend of mine. I paid for the pen, and he discounted a little bit from what he wanted because I told him I would help him instead of staying at the Baltimore Pen Show. So I sold my soul for a pen. No, actually, I'd be happy to do it. So it's fine. For me, it's fine. I like my friend. And so that's how I got that one. But sometimes, you know, you like to make make a little bit of deal. But I'm happy that, you know, Goldspot sent you the pen as well, or as sponsoring you with pens. And I think you're well deserving of it. When I met you in Chicago, I just was so in awe of you that it does our heart, you know, so yes, enjoy. I'll send you the bundle when they come in. Okay. Pop pink. I tried my friend AJ's pop pink in a pen, and I'm like, oh wow, I really like this pink. I didn't think I'd like it because, you know, I wasn't sure how it was going to be. So I said, okay, now I'm on the hunt for pop pink. So the Mont Blanc boutique in Aventuras, according to the website, they had it there. So I called the web store, and the salesperson said, I said, listen, do you have a bottle of the Mont Blanc Pop Pink? Her answer to me was, what color is that? I'm like, pink. What do you think? She had no clue. She took my number, never called me back. I'm like, okay, I wasn't about to drive to Aventura to go get a bottle if it wasn't there. Okay, because Aventura for me is about, on a good day with no traffic, about an hour and a half. And I wasn't about to do it. I could take the train though. There's a train that goes there now, so I could have gotten on the train, and that's much quicker.
Honestly, I'm always up for a train ride. Like,
I love the train. I just took the train to Orlando to visit my nieces. So I had them pick me up at the train station. I got to spend a couple of lovely days with them, and because they work at Disney, we stayed in Disney, and we went over to the mall there, which is great. And I didn't go into the Mont Blanc store there because last time I went there, the guy keeps sending me now emails. Oh, I got this and I got that, and I'm like, oh, text messages. But anyway. Yeah, so that's the Pop Pink story. So yeah, and then the Conan Doyle story I told you. I love Sherlock Holmes stuff. I love anything mystery. I'm a big mystery buff.
I love Sherlock Holmes. I already loved Sherlock Holmes. I fell more in love with Sherlock Holmes with I don't know if you ever watched it, Elementary, the TV show.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes, yes. I was so far too young to be watching Elementary when it was live on TV. Like, looking back, I should not have been watching it when it was on TV. But I adored Elementary.
Yeah.
And
Now they're coming out with a new one. I just
I
saw an
know.
advertisement for it called Watson.
I know.
I love anything. I love all mystery stuff. So especially British TV. They have some really cool shows.
I do.
Yeah.
We are big fans of PBS in this household.
So yep, same here.
For a
Same
very
here.
long
Watch a
time.
lot of PBS. Yeah. So watch a lot of PBS. It's great. Anyway, I can't believe we've been talking for 2.5 hours.
Neither can I. The fact that it is after 1 p.m. now is shocking. The fact that there
I
are still
know.
people watching us after 2.5 hours of us chatting maybe means we should do this more often.
I would love to. I would love to. I absolutely. Hey, a question for you.
Yeah.
I will find out from my friend Deb if he would be willing to do your 20 pen question.
Yeah.
He's an interesting fellow. He used as a teenager. He used to work for Mont Blanc in India.
Okay.
And that's how he paid through university. And then he said he continued it, and now he just does it as because he has a real job. And I said, well, what do you do? He said, I'm into music. He really didn't want, he wasn't telling me what he did. I said, I love music. I even sing. I've actually recorded a couple of songs on the local radio station, play some of my songs. I should have kept my mouth shut. I really should have kept my mouth shut. I tease about that because he said, I finally got it out. He went to working for Mont Blanc and repairing pens, and he's certified from Mont Blanc to certify vintage pens.
Okay.
He went to the Conservatory of Music in Italy, the Conservatory of Music in Prague, and now he's a conductor of the Prague Symphony Orchestra. And he's the sweetest, nicest person. I really, he's become a dear friend. And his wife is a concert pianist, and they have 2 kids, and it just is really, really nice. Oh, thanks. We will, Chris, thank you. We should do it more often.
We should.
Yes,
I think it needs to turn into a monthly date.
I would love to. That would be great.
Fountain Pens Live.
Fountain Pens Live. And what have you done? Have you had someone reverse and ask you the 20 pen questions?
I have.
Oh, very cool.
I have. Deb, who did Fountain Pen 20 questions at the Chicago Pen Show, asked me 20 questions, but then also came into it with some questions of her own. So it was 20 questions plus some bonus stuff.
Yeah, a bonus episode or bonus track, right?
Yeah. It was, here are the questions you ask everyone, plus some questions that I have for you.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, it was wonderful. Thank you for having me on your channel. I really appreciate
coming on. It was
You're
lovely
welcome.
and fun. And we definitely need to do this more often.
Yeah, let's plan on it once a month. I would absolutely love it. I briefly touched a few things, maybe kind of, I like it organic. It's organic. We don't have to have anything, just say, hey, what's going on today? You just go,
exactly.
The
next one will be like early January. It'll be after Christmas, and I'm sure you and I will have gotten interesting things for the holidays.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Kate. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's so funny. We put up the Christmas tree and stuff because, I have some stuff here that I'll have another tree gifts that we've gotten for people.
Yeah.
Peter's like, he said, Claire, I don't really have any. I was like, Peter, don't worry about it because I'll say to him, can I get this pen? He said, yeah. I'll say, oh, I really like this. Can I get this? He said, okay, that's going to be your 115th birthday present now, till I'm 115 years old. We
Yeah.
tease about that, or this is that. And it's more so when you get to be our age. Like I said, married for 40 years. Yes, he still surprises me with stuff, which is wonderful. All of us, like, um, I did a video on my channel on the Monte Grappa chef pen. So that was will surprise me with a pen. He'll think about it and say, I think she'll like this, and he'll surprise me with it. And I'll surprise him with some stuff. But for the most part, but I'm sure I'm going to Fountain Pen Hospital this weekend to help at their event. And when I was there for Stationery Fest, we went to see Manu for a day. We went there. And there's a back room, and in his back room is filled with vintage pens that he doesn't even know what he has. So guess who's going to hang out in the vintage room?
You.
That's right. In fact, it was for Peter's 65th birthday. I was in the back room. I see this Cartier pen, which Cartier does not do fountain pens anymore.
No, they do not. But weren't the Cartier pens just relabeled Mont Blancs?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure they were.
Really? Oh, maybe. I don't know. That would be a question for Peter. He would know that one.
At least one of the luxury brands, they're just Mont Blancs that have been repackaged for the brand.
Yeah. Well, this one was the Cartier Santos because it looks like my watch.
Okay.
And I know that he has like sometimes because it was special, and I said, okay. And I said, what's going to be my, like we talk about it, do a little haggling. I said, okay. Because it was his 65th birthday. So I got him something special. And so I got home from New York, and that was the time. It was the DC pen show. Yes, Mont Blanc made the Cartier pens we own. They make the pens, but they're saying Cartier.
Yeah, they make the pens.
Makes them. But now they're going
to they were Cartier stones on them, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But Mont Blanc did the nibs and everything.
Yep. So this is interesting because there's a lot of pens that are made in factories for, say, Mont Blanc or vice versa, or other pen companies. So interesting.
There's a lot of relabeling in the pen world.
Yes. I got Mama Rollerball. Yeah, they're great pens. They're wonderful. So the DC Pen Show was when they had the tornadoes and the rains, the hurricane weather, interfering with a lot of plane flights.
Yep.
DC got over on a Monday. Peter was supposed to fly out with Suzette and other friends to come back to Florida, and their flights got canceled. Okay. I was going to New York with Sue back to go to Stationery Fest. We did. I said, I can't go leaving my husband. And he just said, go, I'll be fine. He said, Susan, there were people there. He was fine. I said, okay. So Sue and I got on the train and we went to New York for Stationery Fest. Peter he thought he was on a flight. Long story short, we live in Palm Beach area. Okay. We fly into West Palm. He could finally get on a flight Thursday night that flew into Orlando, 2.5 hours north of us. Luckily, my brother was in Orlando visiting his daughters, and he picked up my husband to bring him home Friday morning. I was leaving New York Friday now to come back from Stationery Fest, and my flight got canceled. Peter's birthday's the next day. He didn't know that I had a surprise party at the restaurant for him for his 65th birthday. I'm panicking. I'm not going to be able to get back.
I saw you posted pictures of this.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, and I finally get in. I finally get home with, on Friday night, very late, because I was able to get on another flight out of New York, luckily.
Yeah.
And I get in, I get 11:30, so a half an hour before midnight, so I could come in and wish him happy birthday, and everything went off, like without a hitch. And we had company. Peter, I said, because Suzette, he didn't know Suzette and her father and sister were coming up. There was the hotel, and I had my brother and his wife and we had a whole group of people, and my other niece was coming in. So we had like 13 people at a dinner that I don't know if I was going to make. Like, I could enjoy your birthday via FaceTime, right? But it worked out. But anyway, thank you so. Oh my God, I could just sit and chat with you for the longest time. I'm telling.
Which honestly isn't that different from Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago was busy.
Chicago is 4 days, and most of those 4 days, like if you're not actively like talking to people and buying pens, you're sitting at a table visiting with people, like,
and sharing your pens
and sharing pens. My first interaction with you was you sitting down at a table across from me and handing me a Mont Blanc Bohème, and that was the first time I'd ever touched a Mont Blanc pen. Which really,
yeah. I'm still on the lookout. I have 3 Bohèmes. I figured that's fine with my collection because they're not made anymore.
No,
there is one Bohème that I would love to own, but it's a hunt.
I am on the hunt for a Bohème. They are my favorite Mont Blanc pen. They're so cute.
They write beautifully and they're perfect. And believe it or not, the size of it doesn't. I'm fine. The size is great for me because you can post that. I don't post my pens, but that one is fine to post. You have to post. I don't have to, but
you pretty much have to.
Looking for is the one that has purple leather in the body, because I love purple. So if I was ever to get another my last Bohème would be that if I ever find it.
Yeah, I do love a good pocket pen, and there's something so nice about a Bohème.
Yeah, it's really kind of cool. I could probably use my medium Bohèmes on a Hobonichi. Should be fine. Yeah.
Well, have you tested? I know there's been big issues with the Hobonichi paper this year. Lip Gloss and Lattes had like half of her pages totally bled through. So I would have a backup in case your paper is not up to the standard.
No, I have not tried the new one yet because it's 2025. I got the Hone. I'm going to try to do it this time. Normally I get the days free one because I don't like to be, but I said, well, you know what? I don't have to use it the way I could just, even if I ink swatch on them, whatever, but I want to get in the habit of writing something every single day because it's good to do that. Sometimes when something's bothering you or whatever it is, it's just helpful to write it down, to get it out, to get it out. And so, yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure the Bohème is made to post. They have a thread that allows them to screw on the back of the pen. Yes, I know that. but you can kind of do it, but I prefer having that one posted because other than that, it'd be just too small. Like the Kaweco I post.
Yeah, I post my Kawecos. I post my. I don't know if you got one of these ridiculous things from Kirk at Chicago.
Yes, I got
one. This is unusable, not posted. But really,
I have it because it's a novelty thing, right?
Mine is inked though. I have mine inked with a dark gray, so it's actually practical. But
yeah, it is.
It's small enough that I can like zip it into my wallet, and so it's just become really my like every day. It's in my wallet pen,
and it's a fine nib. It's not bad at all.
No, because again, it's a Kirk Spear pen. They're all tuned. It's a lovely nib on a ridiculous pen.
I think so. It's kind of funny.
It is kind of
funny.
Okay.
I'm gonna finally say goodbye because we gotta go. Yes.
It's been nearly 3 hours.
I think it's the longest live ever, right?
Yeah, I don't know I don't know that I've done a live longer than this on my channel.
I just could talk to you forever. But anyway, thank you so much, Alexandra. And I will be chatting with you, and send me your address.
I will.
Text it to me. Okay.
I will. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Peter.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody, for watching.